Let's find the stream, I suppose. No, thank you, Twitch. Not yet, anyway. That one. Scroll down. That one. Fantastic. Now, I'll just check if the audio... Yeah, the audio's working. That's good. Everything's working as it should be. So, the stream's up and running. The chat is nice and visible. So, hello and welcome everybody to round 2 of the AM1 Championship here on Contest of Speed. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here at the Baku City Circuit, a 6-kilometer or 3.7 mile 20-turn racetrack designed by the great track-making supremo Herman Tilke. It was first used back in 2016. Now, it's not a racetrack that's well known for great racing as such. What it is known for, however, is drama, action, crashes, that sort of thing. And going off last week, this game is full of action, drama, and crashes. So, expectations are fairly high tonight. We're going to see something pretty spectacular, I imagine. This is Baku, after all. I mean, almost anything can... And already we have a yellow flag. What? That's a Williams. And it's Gordit. He's gone straight on at pit exit. Already. We're a minute into qualifying, and already we have a yellow. Welcome to Baku. oh my word. Right. So with that little introduction out of the way, it's probably a good idea to fill in the gaps between what happened last week in Australia up to now. Now, after a race as dramatic as the Australian Grand Prix last week, you'd imagine there would be some stewards' reports. And lo and behold, there were. And probably the most important of which to mention is the 10-second time penalty that Tasmanian Devil copped during the race, which ultimately cost him victory. The stewards have reviewed the incident between him and Fenrique, and they believe that Tasmanian Devil wasn't at fault. So they removed the 10 seconds next to his name, meaning he is the winner of the Australian Grand Prix from last week, relegating Barma 22 to second place and Kos Passassin to third. Speaking of which, he also sent in a incident report because he and Tasmanian Devil had an incident at turn 4. We saw the end result of it, and Aston Martin spinning out, losing a whole bunch of places, and then Passassin went on a great comeback drive to finish second at the time. Stewards have looked over that incident, and they believed it was just a racing incident. Hard racing, so no penalty was given to Passassin. And the final thing from the stewards' report to mention is a little thing involving KD 1997, the Alfa Romeo driver. He was given a single penalty point for readying up too early before the formation lap. Basically, how they want to run it is, I believe Arbar is running the show here. And basically, as soon as he readies up, before the formation lap, then everybody else readies up. It's just trying to allow people as much time as possible to adjust what they need to adjust in regards to strategy and also the setup, if need be. But KD effectively jumped the gun, and he was given a penalty point for his actions. There's also several reserve drivers competing in this race here at Baku. Only 12 full-time drivers. One of the reserves we're actually watching right now is Mitch Burns. He's replacing JD TV8 in the Alpine. Gordit. That is honestly one of the funkiest names I have ever seen in my commentary career. Gordit or To Do. That is such a funky name. He's replacing Tasmanian Devil, who won't be competing this weekend. I'll see if I can't find some of the other drivers. I did have the list up a little while ago, but now I've completely lost it. It's not in the AM1 chat. AM1 announcements, no. Oh, damn. I must have lost it. Anywho, we'll talk about them throughout the race. I should be able to recognize them off by memory, hopefully. But at the moment, wow. Persassin, a 36.897. That is very fast from Persassin already. He's going to be a tough cookie to break right at the top of the table when he's already got a 9 or 8/10 margin. Barmer up to P3, second place driver from Australia. That dramatic race in Australia. Vermouth, who just had a bit of an incident there through the castle section. He's replacing Wingett 88 in the Ferrari. Electric Blade, I'm pretty sure, is a replacement in the Haas. Porridge Power is definitely a replacement. He's filling in for a Fredhead in the Aston Martin. Rikaka replacing SWM Bean in the Alfa Romeo, who's not making an appearance this weekend. Had a shocking race in Australia, I have to say, for Bean. Not a great performance at all, so he'll be looking to find some form later in the season. But Rikaka filling in for that seat. VTEC? Yes? No? I swear I saw someone filling in a Red Bull seat. A vacant Red Bull seat. I remember Asio was trying to get into the session just before qualifying started, but he was unable to do so. So we're a couple of drivers short, but that's alright. Still a very healthy grid here at Baku. And with that out of the way, time to focus on qualifying. And I'm pretty sure everybody's qualifying on the softs, as shown on the leaderboard there. Pretty much everybody on the soft tyre. A couple of drivers running on the mediums as of right now. Oh, of course, the custom weather. That's another thing I forgot. Because we're not running dynamic weather in the championship. We are running a custom weather that's based off the real-life conditions at this time. So, expected. This is a Codemasters game, so I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw something happen in regards to the weather. Yeah. Anywho. Just over 10 minutes left in the session. Some drivers still haven't set a lap time. Andy, corner cutting there at turn 7. Incredibly easy to do because that corner requires you to cut a lot. In order for you to be competitive, you have to abuse the track limits around here. But it's so easy to go over the limit, as Andy demonstrated. Here at turn 15, the esports line, as I like to think of it, you have to sort of turn your Formula 1 car into a touring car and absolutely yeet it over the curb on the inside of turn 15. I'm not sure if that applies in this game, but it definitely applied in F1 2020 and F1 2019 for you to absolutely send it on those curbs. Lunacy exiting turn 1. He might just give us a very nice lap guide here of Baku. Heading into turn 2. Second gear. Exits very nicely there. DRS open. Heading towards turn 3. One of the few overtaking spots on the racetrack. Actually not pushing too hard there at turn 3. Through turn 4. Overshoots it into the barrier. That's wing damage. And through goes Kitten Petter, who was on an outlap. But just going too deep into turn 4. Understeered past the apex and slammed into the barrier on the outside. Rikaka, we'll use you instead. Coming through turn 1, probably the most prominent overtaking spot on the racetrack. Also a very tricky braking zone to get right. Overshoots turn 2 though and goes into the barrier. Less than ideal. Opposite of nice. What about Vermouth? He's exiting turn 2. He does it nicely. Can we get past 4 corners on this lap? That would be ideal. Heading towards turn 3. Braking at the 100 board. Third gear. Hits the apex nicely. Into turn 4. Nice and steady. Very nice through there. Short blast towards turns 5 and 6. A tricky chicane. Very tall curb at the inside of turn 6. Very easy for the car to ride on top of it and spit you into the barrier on the outside. Very nice through turn 7. Now the castle section. Very tricky, complex. Oh, and he goes straight into the barrier! He literally did a Leclerc. In a Ferrari, no less. There goes Mitch Burns, and through goes Ricciardo. He literally did a Charles Leclerc. Literally. In the Ferrari, same corner, same everything. Assassin purple to the second sector. And I believe Enrique is going to finish his lap. He does a 37.2, so he closes the gap, but I think it's going to open back up again. Assassin, DRS open. Speedo climbs to over 330 kilometers an hour. Crosses the line. Wow, a 136.492. He's 7/10 clear. That's big. Around the racetrack that has a lot of straights, that's big. And a lot of flat out corners as well. A lot of flat out turns. That is a tall mountain to climb. Alright, Breezy. Had a unfortunate run at Albert Park. Hopefully he'll find some good form here. He showed a lot of promise in the pre-season races at Interlagos and Silverstone. I'm fully aware, though, that Baku is a completely different beast compared to Interlagos and Silverstone. At the moment, ooh, the Williams driver just scraping the wall there at the outside of turn 7 through the castle section. Then through turns 11 and 12. 12, very important to get it right, so then you can maximise the straight line speed, or rather the top speed, through this high speed section. Towards turn 15. Doesn't yeet it over the curb. I'm going to have to look at Assassin and how he negotiates that corner to see whether or not that line is still used, where you absolutely send it over the curbs. Through the high speed S of 18 and 19, that section is so difficult in the wet conditions. Coming up to the finish line. Breezy sets a 37.8, improves by half a second. Jumps to the second row and overshoots turn 1. Oh, I reckon he would have made that, but just as a precaution, he backs it up a little bit and gets it going. That's alright. I noticed as well that Cameron and KD are out of the session. Did they crash somewhere? And I just didn't notice. Must have. Because both of them are out of qualifying. Nobody has qualifying bans, so... And we saw what happened to Vermu. Hard to tell whether or not Kittenpet is on a flying lap. I don't think he is. No, he's not. He's run out of fuel. Into the pits he goes. Currently P6. The McLaren's looking strong with Andy jumping up to third. Now we got 4.5 minutes left in the session. Coming towards the pointy end of qualifying. Lunacy about to start a flying lap. Entry speed to turn 1, 335 kilometers an hour. Heading towards turn 2. Third gear, second gear just after the apex. So overshooting the corner just a little bit, which in turn will compromise his run towards turn 3, but not by a lot. To be honest, Lunacy will just be looking to set a time. Currently down in 14th. Through the chicane of 5 and 6. Takes it quite nicely. Car rotated well. Round turn 7. Now towards the castle section. Oh, overshoots the entry of it. You really want to cut all of turn 8. all in all, a fairly solid run. Towards turn 15. Slams on the brakes just before the 50 board. Third gear, second gear at the apex. This will complete the second sector and the now near flat out final sector. Apparently purple in sector 2 as well. Lunacy now on the flat out section towards the finish line. No DRS, he's just going to go into the pits. What? With 2 minutes 40 seconds left. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Better have a look at these top guys then. Fenrique, rather. On a flying lap. Bit laggy, but that's alright. Up by 0.2 of a second in the first sector. Now time for the technical second sector. I imagine this is where a lot of time is gained or lost. Featuring a Felipe Massa-esque helmet in the Ferrari. It's a wonderful sight to see. Oh. He is pushing hard. Towards 15. Doesn't clobber over the curb, so you must really want to avoid that. Now, our point of view suggested he might have gone into the wall there, but his front wing looks okay, but he is... he lost a bit of time in the second sector. Not a lot, but a little bit. He's got enough time to set another lap, if he feels the need to. But this might be the end of the session for Fenrique. Coming up to the finish line, the Brazilian will set a 37 flat, stays P2, but at the moment he can't challenge for pole position. What about this man who currently sits at the top of the table with a 36.492? Let's have a look at the first sector for Passassin. He's down by 0.08 of a second. Round turn 7, second gear. Uses all the curve. Hello, Andy. You've spun out there. Now the castle section, third gear. Feathers the throttle, feathers the brake. Short shifts to fourth at the exit of 12. A bit sideways at the exit, though. But he keeps it pinned. Towards the tricky turn 15. Yep, you absolutely send it over the curb. That's the esports line right there. Up by 0.5 of a second. He might just improve here, so long as he doesn't screw up this final section, which he doesn't. What will this lap time look like from Passassin? DRS open. And he's going to come in. He's not going to complete the lap. Now, he set that time on a set of softs, but obviously he must have worn these tyres out more compared to his previous set. So he doesn't want to improve. Kitten Petter coming back into the pit, so he's staying P7. Fenrique is going back into the pits as well. What about Barmer? Can he improve? He only needs to improve by 100th in order to jump up into 4th place. Comes up to the line, goes P4, improves by 0.4. He almost took P3 away from Arba. What about Breezy? Down. He's not going to be improving. Rakaka doesn't improve, stays P11. So Lunacy will be starting from the back of the field. I don't quite understand his game plan. Pretty sure the strategy around here is a soft medium or a soft hard race, if I recall. But then again, my team is quite a bit different to these races. But that's it, the end of qualifying, and a mega lap from Prasassan puts him very comfortably on pole. Look at that. 5.5 tenths of a second separating the top two. That's huge. Arbo in P3, almost a second behind. Then it's Barmo in P4, Andy in P5, 1.3 seconds off. And Breezy rounds out the top 6. Looking at the rest of the grid, we have Kit and Pether in P7, Bursey in P8, Porridge Power, I do like saying that, in P9, and Mitch Burns rounding out the top 10. All of them will be starting on the soft compound tyre. Outside of the top 10 we have Rikaka, Gord, VTech, KD, Lunacy, Cameron, Electric Blade, and Vermouth at the back of the field, after literally doing a Charles Leclerc. It'd be interesting to see what these fellas do in terms of what tyre they start on for the race. I imagine no one would want to start on the hard tyre. It's just, you'll be so much slower compared to the soft runners and medium runners at the start of the race. So I imagine everyone's going to start either on the softs or on the mediums for this. I wouldn't want to take the risk of starting on the hard tyre. A bit overcast, but I believe there's no chance of rain here at Baku. But still, with a dry race, I expect a lot of drama, because this is Baku, so. With the session counter counting down, we'll get the formation lap underway. And we'll take a closer look at what everybody's doing in terms of strategy for this race in Azerbaijan. Rightio, everyone's lined up on the grid, ready to go. So we know the top 10 are starting on the soft compound tyre. Outside of it, pretty interesting story, to say the least. Rikaka in P11 starting on the soft compound. He'll be planning to make up as many positions as possible early on the soft tyre. Be aggressive, be assertive. Just try and make up ground earlier in the race and then try and compensate later on. Gord has decided to start on the hard tyre in P12. Don't know about that. I mean, if it works out, it works out. But on the hard tyre, around a track like this, where you're bound to break a front wing at some stage, that's a very risky ploy. Then from 13th all the way to the back of the field in 18th place, all of these drivers are starting on the mediums. VTech, KD, Lunacy, Cameron, Electric Blade, and Vermouth. All of them are starting on the medium compound tyre. So, we got 6 medium runners, 1 hard runner, and 11 soft runners. One of which has got fresh rubber, but everyone else has got worn soft tyres. Strategy is definitely going to play a part in this one. Trying to get temperature into their tyres. Passas and Fenrique really weaving their cars about quite furiously. Complete opposites of a Kimi Raikkonen. This should be a very interesting start. Typically with Azerbaijan, we have 5 laps of drama right at the beginning of the race. Then typically a whole heap of nothing. So these first 5 opening laps Something happens. Usually something very bad happens. Let's hope for the driver's sake that doesn't happen. Barmer, a two-stop strategy next to his name. Same with Arba. Soft, medium, medium. It's a fairly quick entry into the pit lane here, Baku. And the pit lane itself isn't particularly long. But everyone's lined up and ready to go. Hopefully we're on course for a very interesting race here at the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. We have 5 red lights and it's lights out and away we go. And that's Lunacy pulling off to the side, letting everyone through. But Passassin leads the way. Arba round the outside to take second. Away from Fenrique. There's a bit of drama behind, but nothing major. Side by side, Fenrique and Arba. KD's out of the... Oh my goodness! A whole heap of drama here. Whereabouts is KD's car? Ah, there it is there, way back in the background. But he's out of the race. So we already have a retirement and we already have a safety car. Right. How many seconds was that? About 15 seconds into the start of this race and we already have a safety car? Now I noticed VTEC, one of the Red... Well, he's the only Red Bull actually, so it had to have been VTEC. I noticed he went wide at turn 1. Very, very wide. Lunacy just pulled off to the side. Just let everyone through, I noticed. Let's have a look at the positions gained off the start. Arba made a cracking jump. And oh my word, that's Andy. He's got massive front wing damage on his car. So he'll have to come in and get that replaced. Down 6 positions as well. So Andy got caught up in something for sure. I wonder what he'll do. Probably just do a medium race now. He's done a lap on the soft tyre. Another loser from the start was Porridge Power, losing 4 positions. Dropping from 9th down to 13th, and a whole heap of people coming in. Hello, what's going on? Let's have a look. What did they pit onto? Set of mediums going on Petter's car, I believe. Yeah, set of mediums. So these guys are planning to do a medium race now. New front wing for Andy's McLaren. Way he goes out of the pit lane. Fortunately for Andy, there's a lot of racing to go, so he's not out of the race just yet. These 3 staying out, none of them pitting in. Very interesting. Because I get the plan for everyone who did pit just then. They're doing a medium race. So they'll probably go until about lap 14 or so, and then go on to another set of mediums and go to the end. Because they've already filled the requirements of having done the race on 2 different compounds. So. But these 3. Potentially sacrificing a more ideal strategy for track position. In saying that though, track position is very important. Especially on a street circuit. But these 3 are sort of on the back foot now. They've got a lot of work to do. A discussion in the Discord talking about how quickly the timer popped up in between qualifying and the formation lap, that little setup period.